Hey, want to know the biggest insight that multiple 6- and 7-figure earners had on a recent panel that I hosted that helped transform their lives and I know can help transform yours? I'm going to share all of that and more in this morning's marketing tip. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is I, Greg Gomez III, founder, CEO. We'll go this way, faststartmarketer.com. In today's video, I'm actually going to be sharing with you some more insights that I had from the event that I hosted back in a couple of weeks ago at the NES event, No Excuses Summit. And one of the things that I did is a few years ago, I actually won the first ever Expert of Expert panels, and I've spoken at the event every year since. And this year they asked me back to do a 10-minute TED Talk on influence and how to be able to actually impact and create powerful presentations with 6 simple questions. Some of the speakers there said that I provided in 10 minutes more value than the rest of the group provided. Not to knock them down of what they provided. Everything was centered around traffic, but the core is you can get all the leads in the world, and if you can't prospect them and get them to sign up in your business, what good do leads do you, right? So in this presentation, I laid out those 6 specific questions, and it was very powerful. The biggest insight, though, that I actually shared and learned from this event was by having people on the panel answer a series of questions. I brought a list of them here. Very powerful questions. If you were a newbie and had to start over with $500, what would you do first? It's a very big question. A lot of new people into the space ask this question of people. The downside of this question, the inaccuracy of asking this question, though, is you're assuming that they're also starting with the same skill sets that you have, and that by doing the same things they're doing, you're going to get the same results. That's not true, because no matter how much money I take away from them and had them start over, you're not taking away their skill sets. So I modified that question to take away their skill sets and asked, what would you do first? Knowing what you know of the results now, but not necessarily knowing how, what would you go back and start over doing from the beginning? How do you turn data into doing? This is an important question because what it ultimately does is say, you get all this information. In the beginning, we study so much content, but how do we get that information out of our head and into action and results in our business, right? That's really the question. And they had phenomenal answers for that. If you were a newbie and had to start over with $500, what would you do first? Oh, we already answered that one. If you're the biggest, what's your biggest fear and how do you deal with that? Very good insights. The most important question I asked and what I wanted to share with you here today, though, is this final question. If you had a time machine and you could go back and tell yourself any one thing about your business or about business in general, what would it be? This question and why it was so powerful is that every single person who was giving a response to this question, every single one of them looked so pitiful. Not in the fact that they looked pitiful themselves, but they were full of pity for the conversation in their mind they're having with themselves back in time. I want you to envision this and imagine this for a second. They get a time machine, they travel back in time, they find themselves. They're able to share one business tip on being successful. What would you tell them? And the look on their face was almost, it was easy to bring people to tears. The looks on every single one of their faces, without exception, every single one of them, no matter how confident, no matter how much success they'd had, no matter what businesses they built that have flourished and are so powerful and generate revenue that people only dream of, every single one of them, to a man, there was 5 guys up there, had this look on their face of such pity for the person they were. Not because of the fact that they were pitiful people, but because they had perspective, they had experience. They knew what it was going to take to achieve the level of success that they had achieved. And it's so difficult. It was so challenging for these guys to look at themselves, and every single one of them said almost exactly the same thing. Don't give up. Don't quit. You can do it. It's worth it. Don't stop. You'll get there. No matter how low the lows get, don't quit. Every single one of them said that to themselves. Why is this so powerful? Why is this so important? Why should you pay attention to what these guys are saying? I've trained hundreds of thousands of network marketers, home business owners, direct sales associates, people with similar stories who've struggled to get the results they're looking for in their businesses. And it all comes down to one thing. Those that succeed versus those that don't have one thing in common, and that's it. They didn't quit. Their success looks very different than the rest of the people I've trained success. Their results look very different than the rest of the people that I've trained's results. What they have in common is they didn't quit. No matter how many times they got knocked down, they got back up. One of the biggest reasons to attend a live event, a conference, is the connections you make, those friendships you make. I can't tell you how many times I've picked up the phone and talked to colleagues of mine where I'm at the brink of, screw this, I'm out of here, I'm done. It's so frustrating, I'm so aggravated, I'm so tired of this. I had a setback, or a merchant account crashed, or my computer systems died on me, and we got hacked. An offer that we had put so much effort and energy into launched and it bombed. Facebook, or a marketing platform, mostly Facebook and Google, have completely imploded, and as a result have crushed our performance. We went from $100,000 in revenue to zero revenue. In fact, negative revenue, because we have to pay our employees and we have negative cash flow going out at that time frame. How do you keep yourself from quitting? My wife, when we left that event, actually on our drive up there, this is what inspired the question. We're driving to San Diego because it's just a few hours away from here in Phoenix. So we drove to San Diego, and she looked at me and she said, Greg, we're on a trip to San Diego, and we're talking about our life and what's going on, and our kids are home with someone we trust and they're enjoying themselves. We decided to take a mommy daddy weekend for ourselves. And she said, thank you. She said, thank you for never giving up. Thank you for not quitting when I was telling you to quit. Thank you for not taking a job when I was telling you to go get a job. Thank you for not listening to me when the right decision was to listen to yourself, regardless of how many people told you you were wrong. She said, thank you. That was the most powerful thing that I've ever experienced in my life. And I've achieved a lot of great stuff. Birth of my children, probably that's up there. Marrying my wife, but it's up there, top 5 for sure, of the most gratifying things ever in my life. I want that for you. I want you to experience that after, right? I'm sure you have plenty of before story. It's the after story that's going to make the big difference for you that you want to achieve in your business, and that starts with not quitting. And getting to events is really one of the catalysts that you build relationships with. You shouldn't be in a business by yourself. Even if you've got business associates and your upline and other people within your organization, within your company, you need perspective. Because a lot of times inside of a company, you get fed dogma, you get fed hope, you get fed rah-rah, and not necessarily, you get fed motivation, but not necessarily strategy, tactic, ways to improve what it is you're doing right now. That's why it's so important that you really reach out to focus on building a network of people that are in a similar boat, pointed in the same direction. Could even be in completely different companies, but that realistic perspective, without trying to recruit each other, that perspective, that insight, that support, that camaraderie, working towards a common goal in different organizations, there won't be relationships you'll ever experience like it. The insights you'll get from each other, one thing that works for them that could work for you and vice versa, it expounds your results. It's exponential what you wind up achieving. And it all starts with getting to live events. This Thursday, or this webinar, I'm actually going to be sharing with you 3 networking tips that you should implement anytime you attend a live event. 3 things you should absolutely do. Scripts to use, different ways to follow up, and how to actually engage folks to be able to maximize and leverage connectivity so that you can get good results from any event you attend, whether it's a local networking event, a regional conference from yourself or your own company, and especially third-party events, generic events that are all about recruiting. Some of the best insights you're going to get are going to come from those types of events. And coincidentally, I happen to also be releasing an event that's opening up through September 2nd through the 4th for general admission tickets. Click the link below to learn about our Fast Start Summit so you can actually get connected with a lot of other generic network marketing and business-related affiliate marketing lead generation strategists who are going to share with you some of their biggest insights. It's not a pitching event. We're not going to pitch every single thing to you in the world. In fact, there's very little that we're going to be made available to you guys. It's all about educating and training you on how to actually build your business from the internet compliantly with your organization as well as with the different platforms that are available. Most of the ways you've been taught to grow your business on Facebook or the social media sites is in violation of their policy and could actually get you kicked off, especially if you start paying for ads, which I highly recommend you do, because it's one of the fastest way to grow your businesses in a dollar per dollar method, and the return on those are ginormous. They're just gigantic what you can achieve, but you have to do them properly or you'll get your accounts banned. And that's exactly what we teach you at this event. So click the link below, register for the summit, but in addition to that, register for this week's webinar so we can show you how to get that taken care of. I hope you enjoyed this video, my friend. I hope you got value. If you did, comment below, like, share, +1, do whatever the social medias are telling you to do nowadays. Get the message out there, get your team members this information in front of them, because these concepts, these strategies, they're typically not taught by traditional recruiting and network marketing training organizations. And that doesn't make them bad. They are there for motivation, rah-rah, inspiration, and that kind of stuff. I'll always shoot you straight on what the real business mechanics are to go out there and build massive organizations. Take action, my friend. Like, comment, +1, share, all that good stuff, and I will see you on the webinar.